chosen ones. They thought you were waiting, but what they didn't realize is that something has been quietly aligning in your favor, not by accident, not by luck, but by design. Right now, in this very moment, forces you cannot see are shifting things around you, people, opportunities, decisions, all moving into place for one reason. You are about to be presented with an offer that could completely redirect your life. This is not just another opportunity. This is the kind that feels uncomfortable at first, the kind that stretches you, tests you, and demands a version of you that you haven't fully stepped into yet. And that's exactly why it's powerful. You've been through confusion, delays, moments where nothing made sense. But what if all of that wasn't a setback? What if it was preparation? What if every closed door was simply clearing the path for something far greater, something that requires your full attention, courage, and readiness? Here's the truth most people won't tell you. When a life-changing offer appears, it rarely looks easy. It looks risky. It feels sudden. It may even scare you, but that's the moment that separates those who stay the same from those who evolve. So brace yourself. Not because something is going wrong, but because something is finally going right. The question is, when it arrives, will you recognize it or hesitate and let it pass? The offer will find you when you least expect it. The most powerful opportunities in life rarely arrive when you feel fully prepared. In fact, they tend to appear in moments that feel ordinary, when you're simply living your life, not actively searching for something big. That's what makes them so easy to overlook. They don't always come with noise or dramatic announcements. Instead, they show up quietly, disguised as a conversation, a message, a chance encounter, or even a sudden idea that refuses to leave your mind. What makes this moment so significant is not how it appears, but how it aligns. Deep down, something will feel different. You may not be able to explain it logically, but there will be a subtle sense that this is not random. It's almost as if everything you've experienced up until now has been leading to this exact point. The danger, however, lies in distraction. Many people miss life-changing opportunities because they are too focused on their routines, their comfort zones, or their current limitations. They expect big moments to look obvious, but in reality, they often look small at first. The truth is, the beginning of something great rarely looks like the greatness it becomes. This is why awareness is everything. You must stay mentally and emotionally present. Pay attention to what feels different, what sparks curiosity, and what challenges your usual way of thinking. Sometimes, the opportunity is not what you expected, but it's exactly what you need. When it finally appears, it may not make perfect sense, but it will feel significant. And in that moment, your ability to recognize it will determine whether your life stays the same or begins to transform in ways you never imagined. It will feel bigger than you. When this offer arrives, your first reaction might not be excitement. It might be hesitation, not because it's wrong, but because it feels too big, too demanding, too far beyond what you currently see yourself capable of handling. And that's exactly what makes it powerful. Life-changing opportunities are not designed to match who you are right now. They are designed to reveal who you can become. If everything about the offer feels comfortable and familiar, then it's not growth, it's repetition. Real transformation begins the moment you are stretched beyond your current identity. You might find yourself thinking, "Why me?" or "Am I really ready for this?" These thoughts are natural, but they are also limiting. They come from the version of you that has only known your past experiences. But this opportunity is not about your past, it's about your potential. The truth is, you don't need to feel ready. You need to be willing to learn, willing to adapt, willing to step into a version of yourself that you haven't fully met yet. Because confidence doesn't come before the leap, it develops because of it. This is the moment where many people shrink back. They convince themselves they need more time, more preparation, more certainty. But what they don't realize is that waiting often leads to missed opportunities. Growth does not wait for perfection, it responds to action. So, when the offer feels bigger than you, don't see it as a reason to retreat. See it as evidence that you are being called to rise. You are not being asked because you are already capable. You are being asked because you are capable of becoming. And once you accept that, everything begins to change. Fear will try to talk you out of it. The moment you begin to recognize how powerful this opportunity is, something else will show up immediately. Fear. Not subtle fear, but the kind that speaks loudly in your mind. It will question everything. It will remind you of past failures, highlight every possible risk, and paint scenarios of what could go wrong. Fear has a very specific purpose: to keep you safe. But safety and growth rarely exist in the same space. The very thing that feels uncomfortable is often the doorway to something greater. You may hear thoughts like, "What if I fail?" or "What if I'm not good enough?" These thoughts feel real, but they are not facts. They are projections. They are based on uncertainty, not truth. And if you allow them to control your decision, you may walk away from something that could have changed your life completely. What's important to understand is that fear does not mean stop. It means you are standing at the edge of something significant. The greater the opportunity, the louder the fear tends to be. That's because stepping into something new requires leaving behind what is familiar, and the mind naturally resists that. But here's the deeper question you must ask yourself. What is more painful, facing the fear and trying, or living with the regret of never knowing what could have happened? Most people don't fail because they take chances. They fail because they never take them at all. So when fear shows up, don't run from it. Recognize it, understand it, but don't let it decide for you. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward despite it. And sometimes, the moment you push through that fear is the moment your life begins to change forever. Not everyone will support it. When this opportunity arrives and you begin to consider stepping into it, one of the most unexpected challenges won't come from the situation itself. It will come from people. The same people who have known you, supported you, or grown comfortable with the version of you they understand may suddenly question your decision. Some will express doubt. Others will disguise their fear as advice. They may tell you to be careful, to think twice, or to stay where things feel safe. But what they are really doing is projecting their own limitations onto your path. They are not necessarily trying to hold you back. They simply cannot see what you see. And that's the key difference. This opportunity was not given to them. It was given to you. Growth often requires stepping into spaces that others around you have never experienced. And when you do that, it can make people uncomfortable. Not because you're wrong, but because your courage highlights the risks they were never willing to take. You may feel torn, wanting to honor their opinions, while also feeling a strong pull towards something greater. But this is where clarity becomes essential. You cannot allow external voices to overpower your inner conviction. There comes a moment in every transformation where you must choose: will you live according to what others understand, or according to what you feel called to pursue? Support is valuable, but it is not always available in the moments that matter most. Sometimes you have to move forward without full validation. Sometimes belief has to come from within. And here's the truth. Once you step into that opportunity and begin to grow, many of those same people will eventually understand. Some will even admire the decision you made. But in the beginning, don't expect everyone to agree. Your journey is not meant to be approved by everyone, it is meant to be lived by you. Timing will feel strange but perfect. When this offer appears, one of the first thoughts that may cross your mind is, why now? It may feel sudden, unexpected, or even inconvenient. You might feel like you needed more time, more preparation, or a different set of circumstances. But what if the timing is not wrong, just unfamiliar? Life has a way of aligning moments in ways that don't always make sense at first. What feels like an interruption is often an intervention. What feels like poor timing is often precise timing beyond your current understanding. Every experience you've had, every delay, every setback, every lesson has been shaping you for this exact moment. Even the situations that felt like they were holding you back were actually positioning you forward. The truth is, if this opportunity had come earlier, you might not have been ready to recognize it. And if it came later, you might have missed the window completely. Timing is not just about readiness, it's about alignment. This is why it feels strange, because growth rarely happens when everything is perfectly comfortable and predictable. It happens in moments that disrupt your routine and force you to see things differently. You may feel like things are happening too fast, but sometimes acceleration is necessary. Sometimes the pace increases because you've already spent enough time preparing without realizing it. Instead of questioning the timing, try shifting your perspective. Ask yourself, what if this is exactly when it's supposed to happen? What if everything that felt delayed was actually being aligned? When you begin to trust the timing, you stop resisting the opportunity. And when you stop resisting, you can fully step into what is being offered. Because the truth is, it's not late, it's not early, it's right on time. It will require letting go. Every new level in life demands space, and space is created through release. When this powerful opportunity presents itself, it won't just ask you to step forward, it will require you to leave certain things behind. Not because those things are bad, but because they no longer align with where you are going. This is one of the most difficult parts of growth. Letting go of what is familiar, letting go of routines, environments, and sometimes even relationships that once felt comfortable. You may try to hold on to both your old life and your new path, but eventually you will realize that you cannot fully embrace one while clinging to the other. Growth requires commitment, and commitment requires sacrifice. This doesn't mean everything must be abandoned overnight, but it does mean you must be honest about what is holding you back. What habits are limiting your progress? What environments are keeping you stagnant? What patterns are preventing you from stepping into your next level? Letting go is not about loss, it's about alignment. It's about creating room for something greater to enter your life. Because as long as your hands are full of what no longer serves you, you won't be able to receive what is meant for you. This process may feel uncomfortable. You may feel a sense of uncertainty or even grief for what you are leaving behind. But that is a natural part of transformation. The key is to focus on where you are going, not just what you are leaving. Every successful transition requires a period of release. And once you make that decision, you will begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more aligned with your purpose. Sometimes, the breakthrough you're waiting for is not about gaining more. It's about finally having the courage to let go. You'll be forced to decide quickly. Life-changing opportunities rarely wait for perfect conditions. When they appear, they often come with a sense of urgency, a feeling that you must decide sooner than you would like. This can feel overwhelming. You may want more time to think, to analyze every possibility, to eliminate every risk. But the truth is, overthinking can become a trap. The longer you delay, the easier it becomes to talk yourself out of something that could transform your life. Opportunities operate within windows, and those windows do not stay open forever. This doesn't mean you should act recklessly. It means you must learn to trust your instincts. There is a difference between thoughtful consideration and hesitation driven by fear. When something is truly aligned for you, there will be a clarity beneath the uncertainty. Even if you don't have all the answers, something inside you will recognize the significance of the moment. The challenge is learning to listen to that inner voice instead of the noise of doubt. Many people miss their turning point not because they weren't capable, but because they waited too long. They wanted guarantees in a situation that required courage. But growth never comes with guarantees. It comes with possibilities, and sometimes the decision you make in a short moment will shape the direction of your entire life. So when the time comes, don't freeze, don't shrink, don't overanalyze yourself out of your next level. Pause, breathe, listen within, and then decide, because the difference between the life you have and the life you could have often comes down to one bold decision made in a moment most people would hesitate. It will reveal who you really are. There are moments in life that don't just change your circumstances, they reveal your identity. This is one of those moments. When this opportunity presents itself, it will challenge you in ways you didn't expect. Not just externally, but internally. It will force you to confront how you see yourself, what you believe you deserve, and how far you are willing to go to grow. Up until now, you may have spoken about your potential. You may have imagined a different version of your life, but this is where imagination meets reality. This is where you find out who you truly are. Are you someone who plays safe when things become uncertain? Or are you someone who steps forward even when the outcome is not guaranteed? This moment will not be defined by your past. It will be defined by your response. You may discover strengths you didn't know you had. You may find yourself adapting, learning, and evolving faster than you ever thought possible. And in the process, you will begin to see yourself differently. That's the real transformation. Because once your identity shifts, everything else follows. Your decisions change, your standards rise, your confidence grows, not because everything is easy, but because you've proven to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. This opportunity is not just about external success, it's about internal elevation. It's about stepping into the version of yourself that has always existed beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. And once that version of you is revealed, there is no going back to who you used to be. The outcome will shift your entire direction. Once you accept this offer and step into it fully, your life will begin to move in a different direction. Not gradually, but noticeably. New opportunities will begin to appear. New connections will enter your life. Doors that once felt closed will suddenly open. And you will start to realize that this one decision has created a ripple effect far beyond what you initially imagined. This is how transformation works. It doesn't always happen in small, predictable steps. Sometimes it happens through a single turning point that changes everything that follows. You may find yourself in environments you've never experienced before. You may be surrounded by people who think differently, move differently, and expect more. And at first, this may feel unfamiliar, but that unfamiliarity is growth. Your old path will begin to fade, not because it was wrong, but because you have outgrown it. What once felt normal will no longer feel aligned. And as you continue forward, you will begin to see how everything connects, how that one decision led to another, and another, and another, each one building on the last. This is why moments like this are so powerful. They are not just opportunities, they are direction changers. They shift your trajectory, and once your direction changes, your future changes. The life you once imagined from a distance becomes something you are actively stepping into, all because you chose to say yes when it mattered most. This is the moment you've been prepared for. Nothing you've been through has been wasted. Every challenge, every delay, every moment of confusion or doubt has been shaping you in ways you may not have fully understood at the time. What felt like setbacks were actually lessons. What felt like waiting was actually preparation. And now, everything is coming together. This opportunity is not random. It is the result of everything you've experienced up until this point. The growth, the resilience, the awareness. You didn't develop those by accident. You developed them for this. You may still feel uncertain. You may still question whether you are truly ready. But readiness is not about having everything figured out. It's about having enough strength, awareness, and willingness to step forward. And you do. Think about how far you've come, the things you've overcome, the ways you've grown, the perspective you've gained. That version of you from the past would not be able to handle what is being presented now. But you can, because you've evolved. This is the moment where everything begins to make sense, where you realize that nothing was in vain, that every experience had a purpose, and that purpose is now unfolding. So instead of doubting yourself, recognize this for what it is: confirmation. Confirmation that you are ready, confirmation that you are capable, confirmation that the next level of your life is no longer something distant, it is something available right now. All you have to do is step into it. The moment you've been waiting for is no longer ahead of you. It's here. Everything you've been through, the confusion, the delays, the silent battles, was never meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you. to sharpen you, to position you for something greater than you could have imagined. And now, the offer is coming, not ordinary, not comfortable, but powerful enough to shift your entire direction. This is where most people hesitate. This is where doubt gets loud. This is where fear tries one last time to pull you back into the familiar. But you're not the same person anymore. You didn't come this far just to stay where you are. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to play small when it finally matters. This is your moment. The question is not whether the opportunity will come. The question is whether you will rise when it does. Will you trust yourself? Will you move forward even when it's uncertain? Will you step into the version of you that you've been becoming all along? Because once you say yes, everything changes. Your environment changes. Your mindset changes. Your future changes. And one day, you'll look back at this exact moment and realize it was the turning point, the moment everything shifted, the moment you chose growth over fear. So brace yourself, stay ready, stay aware, because when it arrives, there will be no more waiting, only becoming.